What is going on? YouTube land. Welcome to my sermon on your mound. It's late. Really late for some. Really late for some. Like, share, subscribe, and thrive. Like, share, subscribe, and thrive. And I forgot to mention Three Heads in the building. Shout out to you. Let me see. The comments working. Yeah. Prophetess Vance. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How was your Sunday? I meant to be on earlier, but I've had a full day. Nine heads in the building says, what the hell? Now it jumped down to 5. How you doing there, Prophetess Vance? Welcome to my sermon on your mound. This one is entitled, Let the Dead Lay with the Dead. Relationship Necromancy. Yo. It's been cool. How about you? Oh, it's been great. I even took a nap because I needed to take a nap. You know, when you keep pushing it and you just not getting sleep, eventually you got to pay the bank back. They're gonna repo your shit. You know what I'm saying? So it took me a nap, a much needed nap. I needed someone to recharge the batteries. The batteries. Dimitri Wu, what's happening with you? How you been, Dimitri Wu? It's been a long time. Been a long time, brother. Yeah, I'm just letting some people get in. We'll begin. This is going to be brief. By the way, we're up to the last like 4 hours. I kind of took a nap after coming home from work. You're smart lady, smart lady. Hey, naps are good, yo. Naps are good, shit. I ain't one of these people who hate sleep and I'll sleep when I'm dead. Shit, no, I'll sleep now too. You know what I'm saying? Fuck all that. Oh yes, of course, as I was saying, got about 3 hours left. Okay, what is your missing puzzle piece? Well, now you have a chance to get that piece right up in your box, okay? And no, not the box that you want, okay? But your text message box, all right? That's right. We brought back an oldie but goodie just for a short little time, just to have some fun with it. We're going to destroy the secret link, which is actually in your description box, so you can get your psychic text reading, all right? You can ask me 4 of your most precious, potent, pressing questions that you need answered and have it delivered right into your text. You don't have to worry about setting up an appointment, talking on the phone, any of that shit, okay? So you want to jump on that now. Okay, you definitely want to jump on that now because it's not going to be available in like 3 hours or something. You're going to come back and be like, you know what? I think I'm ready, and shit's going to be done. It's going to be gone. Dimitri Wu, man. Where you been, Dimitri Wu? How have you been? I've been on a spiritual hiatus, brother. Okay, I'm back in bed. Well, hey, I get it, man. I get it. You got to do that. Sometimes you got to go back to go forward, you know? Can't be mad at you with that. Salute to you for that, man. I totally get it. Life isn't a straight line, man. To me, I see life as a spiral. You know what I'm saying? And it does progress, but you will come around the same shit again. It'll be at a different degree. It'll be at a different level. But often, life is cyclical. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be revisiting certain points again and again. It's not going to be in exactly the same way because you're not going to be exactly the same way. You know? Fuck that sleep when you're dead shit. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's more or less like the hustle culture shit, you know. And I get it, man. I mean, if you're smashing, you're smashing. You know what I mean? I got the Egyptian musk incense going on. It's smelling lovely in here, as am I. Okay, and just setting the mood. All right, setting the mood. So you know what? We're about 5 minutes in, and about another minute, I think I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start. You got to have the breaks, says Tawanda. Absolutely. If you notice, life is about the push and it's about the break. You know what I'm saying? It's about the push and the break. You can't just do one. If you don't go to sleep, your body will literally break down. Your mind will also, your brain, let me say that, will break down also. You know, it's during when you're doing nothing that your body's doing everything. That's when you're like rebuilding your body. That's when you're doing all kinds of shit. Your brain is recalibrating itself. You're leaving, you're astral traveling, like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shit. Fuck that. But yeah, so you definitely gotta have the on and the off. And speaking of on and offs, I'm gonna get into my sermon on your mound. And I entitled this one, Let the Dead Lay with the Dead, Relationship Necromancy. I think some of y'all know where I may be going with this. My brother Frankie Evans. First of all, check out Tawanda Vance's channel, Prophetess Vance. Could you please throw up your channel in the comments? And also check out my brother, if you like people who audit police, you know, the people that go around and record police and, you know, making sure who's watching the cops. Well, this is one of them right here. Check out my boy Frank Evans, my brother Frank Evans. So yeah, now we should get into my sermon on your mound. Okay, let the dead lay with the dead. Relationship necromancy. Well, first of all, we can glean from the title. If you've done any type of spiritual work for anybody, even if like you don't do it professionally, right? You might just be a good friend. You might be, others might describe you as empathic, right? And they want to just always talk to you and dump their shit on you. You know, you will notice a certain common thread throughout things, especially when it comes to relationships. Now, a lot of the times that there's problems or if a relationship ended or appears to have ended, you'll notice that one or the other usually is not letting go. Another way of saying letting go, and I'm going to be saying this all the time, so get used to it. Another way, potato, right? So letting go, the other way of saying that, and I think this makes a lot more sense, is just acceptance. Through acceptance, you're actually not doing anything. You know, letting go implies that you're doing something. Acceptance is more or less just, it is what it is. You know, you accept it, but you accept it in an authentic way, in a real way. You're not pretending to accept it, you know? What's going on, woo-woo? So I know me personally, I've seen it, of course, with certain clients. I've seen it in my own life. You know, there's the outward where the people are like, you know, bitch, come bust my windows out or something, you know, stab my tires, or whatever, you know. There's a reluctance to let go in that way. I'm sure many of you can relate to just, you know, different types of fuckery. Sometimes if you decide to, you know, exit out of a relationship, there could be, you know, some adverse effects usually, you know. But, you know, I'm here to tell you, though, that the reason why acceptance is so important here is because, yeah, Prophetess fan says, I'll bust out the windows out your car. So the reason why acceptance is so important, though, is because, you know, Every relationship that you have right now is finite because you're finite. Well, your body is. You know what I'm saying? Everything that comes into creation in this realm it has its time stamped on it when it will not be anymore. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm speaking of relationships, I'm not just talking about romantic. I'm also talking about familial, certain family relationships. Your relationship with maybe your job or a job or a career, okay? Your relationship with yourself. Many of you may have had a shittier relationship 5 years ago with yourself, okay? And that died, only to be reborn again as a new relationship with yourself, you know? So the problem is, though, I see, or the challenge, is a lot of us are still carrying around the dead. Now, we all know certain different cultures. Some cultures will have the body like somehow preserved in a way where grandma can just be chilling in the rocking chair, and they bring food, and that is their way of like honoring, or also making sure that their particular passage from this life into the next is of a certain caliber. You know what I'm saying? But the dead that I see still being carried around, and this is why I call this relationship necromancy. Because if you know what necromancy is, it's dealing with the dead, right? It's a spiritual system, or I guess you could say I could classify it as a classification of. There's different ways of doing it. There's different cultures that deal, but everyone has necromancy going on, you know. And I was trying to put a thumbnail up. I don't know how to put a thumbnail with this StreamYard shit, but I had some of the Ghana dancing pallbearers that I was going to put on there. But then I was like, dancing pallbearers or the silhouette of this bitch's mound? And I mean, this is my sermon on your mound, so I had to put the mound up. You know what I'm saying? I think it's on. I don't know. Love and life, what's happening? So, Lynn B, what's going on? But a lot of people are still carrying around the dead. They may not be walking around with a corpse, you know what I'm saying? But these ghosts, man, these ghosts, oh, there's something. You see, every relationship that you have right now, or that you're in right now, is going to end one of three ways: either death, desertion, or divorce. Either they're going to die on you, they're going to fly on you, or or y'all are going to divide, or they're going to divide on you. You know, one of the three. There ain't no escaping that. There is no escaping that. Period. It's almost like, I'm sure some of you have heard about doing death meditations and how liberating those can actually be, because the most innate primal fear, I guess you could say, that we all have, or we are programmed or conditioned with, and all that other stuff, is fear of death, you know? So there ends up being a certain liberation when you can get comfortable with that. Have you ever imagined your own death, your own transition? What it may be like, all these other things? But what I'm seeing here with, as far as relationships are going, see, a lot of people they're carrying their ghosts around. And it's not that the ghosts need to be exorcised. The ghosts are actually trying to leave. It's the person keeping them locked in that don't want to let go, or doesn't want to accept the fact that whatever that relationship is, it is what it is now, which could be categorized as dead, right? Non-existent. And these ghosts also take the form of, how many of y'all have punished somebody for what the last person did? That's a form of ghosts, right? You're still reacting to them ghosts, but you're dealing with another person. You go from one job to another and find it to be very similar. Sticking in a job or a career that is soul stealing, and not in a good way. Okay, we've all heard of the soul suckers. Okay, that's, I'm all with that. But here, have some soul. But there's another level to that. It just takes away from you in every form and fashion. Spending too much energy. It takes so much energy for some of you guys to get to some of these jobs, because every day it's like you chip away just a little piece of that soul. You know what I'm saying? It's like, clink. How much you got left? you know I think a healthy question to ask, if you do find yourself, if you're first of all able to realize and recognize in yourself, hey, you know what, I think I've been carrying around some of these ghosts, man. I think I have them trapped in one of these voodoo bottles, and they want to get out. They want to go. I'm the one keeping them. It's not like they're possessing me. Like, I'm keeping them. Why? So, got to ask yourself these questions, But I think the first thing is to identify if you're walking around with some ghosts. A lot of women, especially, I mean, all people do. I say women because biologically, women take the DNA in of a man. I mean, that's if they're with a man, you know what I'm saying? Or whoever they're with, they get their clubs shot up. Okay. And I'm sure y'all have heard of imprinting and stuff like that. Okay. You can look around. I've heard an interesting thing, and it's called a love imprint. And you'll find that a woman's type somehow may be based on the first person that they were imprinted by, right? They may have elements, it may not be exactly the same, but there may be certain things there. Okay, it's like I said, I haven't read up on it a lot, but what I have read was pretty fascinating. Okay. You might have one chick and she's like, hey, all of a sudden she gets I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about it really, but I just thought it was interesting. So if somebody else wants to look at it too, I thought about, look up love imprint. Love imprint. Prophetess Vet. Somebody else I've heard say shoot the club up. It's going on. On like some Colombian gangster shit, you know what I'm saying? Everyone's getting it. But yeah. But these ghosts, when you first of all, when you don't accept them, you don't let them go. Because when you accept them, that is the way to let them go. Then they can go on their way. They're like, man, we got, and I used to always hear like people, I see different people talking about, I want stability, I want this, I want that. You want certainty in an uncertain world. You know what I'm saying? You want certainty in an uncertain world. What constitutes a successful relationship? I ask you this, right? If you were married for 20 years and you made it 20 years, 2 decades, and on the 21st year, the husband or the wife's like, hey, you know what? I think I'm up out of here now. You gonna leave me after 20 years? It's like, okay, at what point in time though? And yes, we have this thing because we've been programmed with this marriage thing, right? Till death do us part. Let's say you do make it to death. Oftentimes you'll have the spouse who's left here behind. A lot of times they will go right after. I've seen that actually happen in my life, literally. I'm sure some of you have, and they may have a really hard time letting go of their deceased loved one. And the deceased loved one's like, God damn, bitch, and you had my dick excavated too? You took my dick from me? And now you won't let me go? You won't let me go? Really? Like, even after death, you won't let me go? Come on. Nah. I joke and I kid, but you understand what I'm talking about. There's not too many people now that I've seen, like my grandma, when her husband died, when my grandpa died, and I'm not saying that people should do this, but I'm just saying, like, she did not remarry again. It was just, she was a widow. That's what it was. That's what it was. I picked my husband and he passed away, and that's it. I mean, Divine Dre, freezing the game. LB to God, shout out. Says, seen it hella times. Exactly. Exactly. So let's take it. I mean, because a lot of this, let's face it, man. I don't think this generation is going to be able to necessarily say that. I think the whole to me it seems obviously there's been, you know, certain behavioral programming in regards to how men and women relate to each other and just relationships in general. It seems to be that things are getting more and more fickle between people. Like, to have somebody actually married for 5-10 years now, with the mindset now, would be like a fucking miracle almost. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of relationships, it's like when people start businesses, the statistics are like, I don't know how many percentage, of like what, 80%? I don't know the exact percentage, but they die within 2 years of being started for whatever reason, right? It seems like that with relationships too. A lot of them, anyways. A lot of them that I've seen, like, um, and then some people, some of you are in relationships that are dead already, and you know it, but you don't want to accept it. So you want to just, you want to have that motherfucker embalmed right next to you. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you stuff that dick, okay? Make sure you stuff that package, okay? We're not letting that go, all right? We're not letting it go. I'm gonna keep it chained to the bed. I have a button where I can press it and it like flips it up and like puts them in the closet, gets them out the way so I can make the bed. And then when I'm ready, I hit the button again, comes, drops them back off in the bed. You know, you're not going anywhere, you know. And a lot of times I don't think that necessarily even has to do with the other person, though. It has to do with the one who doesn't want to accept the fact that, you know what, maybe this relationship is dead now. Maybe this shit is like, it's ran its course, man. I don't know about you, and I don't know how each one of you may decide to leave a relationship. There's a couple different styles to that, you know. Some of you like to wait till it gets to such a degree of hell on earth that the other person just can't help but say, you know what, fuck you, I'm leaving. So that way you can say that, hey, I stuck in, I didn't leave, you know, but in reality, you probably did already leave. You've been gone. You've been gone, you know? And then there's others where the slightest infraction, it's like, okay, bitch, you out of here. You're gone. You're fired. All right. Hey, shout out Nicholas Davis. We ain't staying in nonsense like some of our grandparents. Although my maternal grandma didn't mind leaving a bad situation, when I'm sure I'll break up and that's that. Well, you know what? That's like the middle road. That's the middle road. Because I noticed that, like, if you're of a certain age or older, there was kind of like this conditioning that you gotta fight for love. You fight for it. God damn it, you fight. Want to. You know what I'm saying? And I think if there's any fighting to do, I think if you know, and I don't even like that terminology, fighting, necessarily, to me, as far as the relationship obviously is going to bring up some bullshit in you. It's going to bring up their bullshit. And then we get to see how our bullshit plays on a play date. Is this something that we can sustain? And if we can sustain it, how long can we sustain it until we each deal with our bullshit? To me, in my opinion, that would be the proper way. but one may be reluctant to deal with their bullshit. You know? Yeah, it does create. Dimitri Wu says that's right. Prophetess Vance, that creates misery. It does. It does. I remember a saying, I'd rather sip soup with somebody I love or that I'm in love with than eat steak with someone I hate. And I don't even really even eat steak, you know what I'm saying? But you get what I'm saying. Women leave the relationship mentally, emotionally, way before they leave physically. I agree. I'm out as soon as you consistently disrespect me. I can concur with that. I can concur totally 100% with that, you know? And I've noticed even, you know, and some of us, though, as we are evolving and changing, ascending, the bullshit tolerance meter might shrink, you know, and it's not nothing personal. It's just now is definitely not the fucking time. I don't know about you, but now is definitely not the time with all the bullshit going on. And mind you, there's always been bullshit. You watch old shit and they're like, man, the state of the world today. And I'm like, these are the days that people are longing for. And back then they were saying, oh, this shit's going crazy over here. The state of the world today. You know, something about that perception or whatever, but that's a whole other thing. But the way shit is definitely going on today, like, and I mean this from a spiritual perspective, you know, now more than ever, a lot of you are being called by yourself, okay, by your divine self or higher self, however you want to see it, that you may need some time out. Now, of course, you have free will and you can decide whether you're going to actually take that time out and make that time out work for you. Or are you going to find another distraction or 10? And that's totally on you. You know what I'm saying? Totally on you. I, for one, I heard it. I seen it. I know it. So I know what I need to be doing right now. You know what I'm saying? And relationships can be empowering to both parties. I believe they should. The man I am right now, you're going to be a much better bitch for dealing with me than before you came to me. You know what I'm saying? It would be the desire of my heart that you are a better version of yourself, as I want to be a better version of myself, you know. But whatever we have going on, it may only last three months, may last 6 months, 7 months, whatever it is. How come it can't be a fucking awesome that? You know, you look at some of these like, if you've ever been on a dating site, a lot of these bitches like, if you're not trying to get married and you don't want kids right now, like, you better not fucking message me, bastard. You know, it's like, how the fuck did it just cracks me up. It cracks me up. Divine Dre says, oh, and your freezing spell is legit. Tried it last week. Shit, immediately. I see, that's what I'm talking about. Salute to you. Thank you for sharing that also, by the way. Yeah, but yeah, it's kind of nutty out there in a way. In some ways it's great. Divine Dre, no hookups, no one they hooking up, no one they hooking up. I'm gonna tell you, like, there's this, what's that old song by the Barcades, who's getting it? Somebody's getting it. I guarantee you, somebody's getting it. Do not be a fool. All right, somebody's getting it. More than likely, it's probably not well, but it's better than nothing, right? All right. I'd be looking at the dude's description on the dating sites and I'd be like, damn, man, you need to calm down. What do you see, T, Prophetess Vance? What do you see? Now, that's just one category of the relationships, okay? Like I said, you can have a relationship with your particular way of life, where you live, what you're doing, and who you're being. That may need to die. You know what I'm saying? That may need to die. It's not all just about a romantic interest. It could be also, like I said, a family member. Could be with your kids or certain friends. You know, certain friends, and they may not have even have wronged you. It's just you see that you're growing in a different way. And at some point in time, that person is either going to add or subtract from you. It's going to go one of the other ways. They be talking, excuse me, they be talking like they're angry. Black man in a bizarro world. Oh, you ain't lying, man. I just called that the bizarro world the other day. I was talking to somebody, and thank you though. I appreciate that, brother. I'm just saying, like, it's the truth. It's not even game. It's just the truth. Like, it's just the truth. You know? Natural departure. They be talking like they're angry. That's interesting. That's interesting. You know, and you know, I'm not picking no side. I'm definitely not anti-woman. I love woman, period. Like woman, period. Right? Is there things about, but then again, I can't blame, like, and I can't blame the men, because it's like it's a cycle. One reacts to the other. You know what I'm saying? Everyone has their bitches and their complaints and things about, they love to point the finger at the other side. It's their fault. And you see that in everything in life. Republicans against the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Different races against different races. It's their fault. You know what I'm saying? It just goes on and on. But at some point in time, you need to be concerned with what it is for you. It is always a good time to have an assessment. As my pops says, a checkup from the neck up, you know, as to what the fuck is going on with me. And of course, what do I need? Some of us can get into relationships and we're the giver and we end up being with the taker. They're happy to take and take. And then sometimes those roles can be reversed. You know, a lot of crazy shit can happen. What's happening, Doc? Dualism, says Divine Dre. No escaping it. Absolutely not. You better get used to working with it. If you hear, you better get used to working with paradox. You better get comfortable with paradox. You better get familiar with paradox, because you're going to see it operating in every single area of your life. And not recognizing it, not knowing how to deal with it, not knowing how to utilize it, how to use it, you're going to be all fucked up. You're going to be like the rest of the sheeple. You know what I'm saying? Most of the sheeple are polarized. They're on one side or they're on the other. That's polarization. Yeah, the world is a paradox, says Nicholas. It is. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no escaping that. Same thing that'll heal you will kill you. Same thing. Same principle. You know? So if you have been carrying around ghosts, the worst type of ghost that you can carry around, or that you have trapped, that you're trapping, that you're keeping, that you're handcuffing. And I say it's you because it has to be you. It's not just going to live with you. It flows. The ghost is going to flow. So if it's been sticking around with you for years, why? Because you won't let him go, or you won't let her go, or you won't let it go. You know, I've known people that were stuck in their glory days at a particular kind of job or career. I used to make thousands of this and that. And it's like, now maybe your industry has changed because the world's changed, technology's changed, but you still want to hold on to your fucking glory days in the late 80s when you used to listen to arena rock. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Coke was aplenty and the hookers were aplenty and all this, and you had hair and shit. You know what I mean? Times change. Fuck with them scales. Learn how to balance the divine feminine and masculine. That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. It's about a balance. And another way that I can describe, to me, I describe that as a dance. You know, I can go all the way to the left, but then I'm going to go all the way to the right too. you know, and I can just kind of hover around the middle as well, you know. So, and to one, Prophet Van said, Disco Ducks. Bragg and Marty, I was making that. Okay, but what are you doing now? What is it now? How is it now? A lot of people are in a relationship because of whatever memory or the halo effect, that emotion that they attributed to the other person. You know what I'm saying? Even though that's changed, they're still thinking back to that. Now, I'm not saying that if your relationship may be in a place where it does need some work, you know, I'm not saying just because it might get rough right now that you should just bail out on something either. See, we're talking about you know, I'm not just one-sided. I'm like, okay, if it gets uncomfortable, you leave. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Everything's going to have uncomfortable ability to it. Everything. Not everything's going to be peachy keen. If you go after what you love to do the most, what you would do for free as a career, as you go along your shit, you're going to encounter different aspects of it being a business, of it being monetized, of you having to pay taxes, of whatever the case is that you don't like. How many times have you heard of musicians, all they ever wanted to do was get in the music business? After a few years in there, they're like, I quit music. I love music, but I hate the music business. It's full of fucking fuckery. It just turned me off. It was not what I thought it was going to be. You know? So everything has a degree of, everything's going to have the, you know, the sunshine and the rain. Joy, pump it up, and pain. It's like sunshine and rain. So everything got that. Everything got it. You can't get away from that. Are you wearing out your welcome? Are you wearing out your welcome? Are you like, what about Bob? You know, see, some of y'all don't even know about that movie, but it's about a guy who just never really left. He constantly bug, you know. Are you allowing your partner to be a what about Bob? You might already kind of know and have these inclinations, and you find yourself fantasizing. It's funny though too. Speaking of paradox though, like the married man's always, you know, imagining and visualizing, oh man, what if I was single, right? And then the single guy who's been single for a while, he's always imagining, man, what if I had a really good wife and I was able to sit and, you know, you don't want to be like the pastor who's thinking about sex while he's giving his sermon and thinking about his sermon while he's having sex. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. But let's find the ghost, shall we? Why don't we find the ghost? There's only one way to find the ghost, I believe. Actually, two ways. You can wait until the circumstances are so loud that you cannot ignore it anymore. I don't know about you, but I've had moments in my past relationships, right? There was always a moment where I call it the lights came on. And in that moment that the lights came on, I knew what I knew. I might have known it before, but I would try and shush it away for whatever reason. But when I knew what I knew, it's here. It wasn't even here. It's all in here, this fucking area. It was like undeniable. I cannot deny it. I surrendered to whatever this was that just when the lights came on, like I had to surrender. It was that big and bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to surrender. I was like, I didn't have the energy to like just shush anymore. Nothing. It has to be. And that's just what it is. I don't even understand why. I just know I got to go that away. And you got to go that away. Okay? Way that away. You know? Some people get complacent in situations, relationships, work, and family. You know, I think that's a part of this sermon. That's a part of this sermon. It's not even so much, you know what, it is complacency, but complacency, when we're talking about complacency, we're talking about familiarity. Just because you're familiar with something does not mean it's nourishing you, does not mean that you're even happy in the shit. It just means that you know it, that you're familiar with it. And to these certain parts of our brain and our mind and even our body, familiarity means, hey, you're going to be okay. Okay. We know that this is cool and we're not going to die from this. So we're going to keep ourselves here. All right. Now you want to go rocking the fucking boat. Okay. You want to go traversing out into the wild. Okay. And who knows what the fuck can happen out there. We just can't have it. Okay. We're going to stay right here in our little safe spot. And we're going to do this day after day after day after day. KD, what's going on? That's what we're going to do. That's what complacency is. Complacency is stagnation. There's a difference between being fulfilled, satisfied, and complacent. I'm just oh yeah, okay, well, yeah, all right. I know this shit. Like, it's cool. I do know people. I have a friend. He prefers boring. He prefers predictable. And I just could never understand that. Me personally, I just could never understand that. If you want to talk about someone who always just takes the safe bet, and like I said, he's a good friend. Tried, true, and tested. Like, I'm not judging him. I just marvel at his ways. You're like, how in the fuck can you live like this, yo? But some people are like that. There's a lot of people like that. There's different degrees of that. You know, he's pretty extreme with that shit. You know, I think he would fall more along the lines of being in a relationship that he's not happy with at all, not satisfied, not fulfilled in any type of way, but at the same time, not too miserable to make him leave. He's like somewhere over here. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I don't know if it's the Saggy in me, but I cannot stand the fucking blahs. That's one of my things. You know, I understand not relationships can't be like super intense 24 fucking 7, 365. I get that. I totally get that. You know, who is all super intense 24/7, 365? Who? Like, I mean, we all have our different moods. We all have our different things, right? But any type of relationship where, and I've been in some where it kind of started getting to the point where I'm like, if I feel like you're a fucking roommate, you're fired. Like, you're done. Because if I'm feeling like you're a roommate, especially old Shango, old school, previous Shango, oh yeah, you could best believe Papa Shangito been dipping his stick in some shit. You know what I'm saying? He's been dipping his stick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, and I realized that can also be detrimental too. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was too fickle. I was too fickle. You know, not realizing that life has, you know, the tide comes in and the tide goes out. You have your ups, you have your downs. Everyone has their own biorhythms. Real shit. You know, some days you have more energy, you're more zestful. Sometimes, you know, you got more zest for life. Sometimes you're more, you know, you're just more chill, and all that's fine. You know, yeah, for real, shit. I'd get bored too quick. But another part of that was I was getting too bored with myself. There was shit about myself, right? Because to me, obviously, going out, snapping some necks, getting some checks was also a form of validation for me. I found this out through self-exploration. You know, it was like a drug that I had to keep getting. It wasn't even about the bitch. It was just about, you know, I needed that little dopamine spike, you know? And after, you know, hitting it a few times or whatever, like having, you know, I would just like that dopamine shit just, my dopamine receptors are really tough. You know what I'm saying? They get really resilient really quick, you know, especially back then. Yeah. Eyeballs and everything, Lim B. Shit. I needed that. I needed that attention, you know? So that's why I can't bash women, because I know a lot of women do a lot of shit for a lot of attention, but I'll just say it like this. A lot of people do this because everybody wants attention to some degree. It's a natural human thing. You're born like that. Babies want attention. It's in you. You know what I'm saying? So, jeez, I don't even know where we're going now with this shit, but I don't mind it because I'm enjoying the conversation with y'all, you know? I just know what it was for me. Like, and I had to come to terms with different things, but I have also always been the type of person who could just be by myself. I did love being by myself. You know how it is. Some of you out there know how it is when your partner and the kids or their kids or whoever comes home and you get that fucking depressive feeling like, oh, fuck. you know? And the fact of the matter is, some of us just need more time alone than others. Some of us just need more time than others. Some people they can't be alone. I had another friend, always had a bunch of niggas at his house. I mean, everyone would come by. Everyone was coming by his house. Their house was the kick it spot. And I would sometimes be sitting there just watching, observing everybody. I'm like, how the fuck do you have all these niggas in your house all the time? Niggas, bitches, whoever. Like, everyone would come to this person's house. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, dude, I'll stay on topic. The title pulled me out of this book on Bushido martial arts. Yeah, good topic. But it all makes sense, though. It's your relationship to the person, your relationship, more than likely, though, to yourself. That version of yourself. Who are you having a relationship with? Who are you being now? A lot of us have had to make changes within ourselves, and we've had to cut that relationship with our former self, with who we were, versus now who we are. We're going to have to do it again. You know what I'm saying? Right? People do it different ways. Some are just self-destructive with it. Yeah, I can't help that. Of course, me and my profession, I see it all the time. People coming forth because they want to keep somebody who don't want to be kept. And I've mentioned this before already. I've never understood that. I could not get turned on by somebody who does not want me. It's not even possible. I know that sometimes they say, oh, you always want what you can't have. But I don't know. For me, I don't know. It just doesn't work like that. Man, shit flows where it flows over here. Yeah, Makes sense what we are attracting. Yeah, because like I said, we go through these different chapters, right? You can even look at it like perhaps you're a serpent. And every now and again, every season, there's that season where you crawl out the old skin. That old skin is the old relationship. And once again, that can be a relationship to a person. I mean, it could be a relationship with, like I said, your whole fucking life. Who am I with? Where do I live? What am I doing? What the fuck is my purpose? Where am I going? Usually people start to ask this shit when they're already past the halfway mark of their life. You know what I'm saying? But it's a good idea to me to ask that anytime, Lynn B, absolutely. That's what we do here. We give it to you raw. We give it to you raw, and because God is our condom. You know what I'm saying? Luck is my condom. so, hey, it is what it is here. But honestly, being that I can be very empathic, sometimes I really do. I don't judge the people. I used to judge people sometimes, internally, just to myself. Be like, yo, what in the fuck? Let some bitch act like she don't want me. Let me even just get a sense of that shit. I'll be out like a scout on a new route, Jack. Like, not a problem. I promise you, So for me, it took a little bit of practice of stepping into somebody else's shoes to better understand it, And then I'm like, okay, I can start to tune into that person. I can understand, but I can see how all that has to do with is their relationship with their self, you know? And let's not bring in some fucking traumas and shit. Let's not bring in some traumas, goddammit. There's a lot of people walking around with a lot of traumas, traumatic ghosts. And it's like the doorway to leave is right here, right? So as the ghost comes up to leave, the ghost is surrounded with a feeling that is very uncomfortable initially. And the person, oh, no, you got to get back in there. I can't deal with that right now. I can't take that right now. Matter of fact, let me put the radio on. Let me have my phone on. Let me have the TV on. You know, have any of y'all been younger and thought that there may have been a ghost or something in the house? What is the first thing you do? You turn on all the lights, turn the TV on, so you won't feel alone. Tabernacle. Oh, we got Lord Walker in here. Shout out to Lord Quan Walker. Yeah, you know what I'm going to be doing here soon is I'm actually fortunate enough to have one about 1.5 miles away. It's a deprivation tank. And you lay in that bitch, you float. There is no sight. There is no sound. There is nothing. You can't even have the sensation that you're laying on something because you're just floating. And from what I've understood, it's quite an experience. And things do come up, right? They come up. Just like, remember when you were a kid and it gets dark, that's when you start thinking you're hearing shit. That's when the ghosts come out, when it's dark. I saw my first ghost at 5 years old. I'm sure that probably shocked the shit out of you, Doc. Hey, Quan, Lord Quan, how was your experience with that? Sensory deprivation tanks are serene, potentially. Yeah, he said potentially, exactly. Potentially. Depends. Some, like I said, those who need a bunch of stimulation going on, always need something going on, always need the TV on. Got the TV, my phone, the iPad going on. I got this, that, you know. They're doing that because they're trying to hide from something. They're trying to keep something away, keep themselves distracted. And a lot of times it's just habitual now, you know. And when it's habitual, you'll be like, it's too quiet. I don't feel right. You know, part of the reason you don't feel right is because you're used to having the habit of having a bunch of things on, because it keeps the demons away. It keeps the ghosts away. You know, it was smooth for me. It's all on the interstate. Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing what it's all about, see what that should do. You know, I'll come back and report to you guys as far as my experience, you know, but I have a feeling it's going to be quite a time. I really look forward to it, you know. So I guess I'm going to end this sermon with just saying, I think it's time, though. I think it's time we take a very honest perspective. And sometimes it's really hard to be honest with yourself. Let's face it. You know, it takes a hell of a motherfucker to be honest with themselves. I'll say it like, you know, you got some people who can go out and fight 3 people at a time and shit. And they'd be like, that's a hell of a motherfucker. I agree. But it's a hell of a motherfucker who can really be honest with themselves, man. It really is. Because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. Sometimes to accept the truth about yourself and others is not easy, you know. Sometimes the fact that people don't want to accept the truth because it's like, that would mean that I've been living a lie for the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, however long, you know. And they just can't deal with that. Like their circuits get fried. You know what I'm saying? So, well, let's see what's going on in the comment section here. But that was my sermon. Just let the dead lay with the dead. Okay? Let the dead lay with the dead. You can call it letting go, or you can call it accepting the fact that things are the way they are, which is a very good way to let go. Inadvertently, it's actually a very good way to let go. Divine Dre says, face your demons. Bobby Hemmett said in 93. That's your subconscious trying to communicate with you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And it's going to keep knocking and keep knocking. And it's going to get louder and louder and louder until you do. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't hear the knock. And it has to come in the form of some type of a disease, an accident, or something else. And even then, they still don't connect the dots. There seems to be an inability to be able to connect the dots between what's going on in their external life versus what's going on internally, you know. But hey, you know, oh, commercial break. We brought back the psychic text message readings for just a very, very short time. That link is actually going to expire in about maybe 2 to 3 hours tops. So if you're interested in getting 4 of your most pressing questions answered through text message, okay, so you don't have to make time for privacy. You don't have to go sit in the car and your your lovers go think, who the fuck is you talking to, yo? You know, it's the perfect way to do it. All right. So whatever your missing puzzle piece is, we can find it, or we can at least get things going on the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So take advantage of that because it's going to be gone in 2 to 3 hours. Quan says, Lord Walker says, grab some black obsidian to meditate with. It's intense, but makes it easier to go ahead and work with those shadows. Black Man in Bizarro World says, mine happened as a head-on collision. Walked right out the trauma unit same night. Damn. But I can tell you probably connected the dot. I'm sure after the pizzazz of the situation died down, you were like, yo, man, what the fuck is going on? You know? Glad you know, you had somebody looking after you. You were looking after you. You know what I'm saying? Damn. I'm supposed to be dead too, I think. I've had so many different incidences. So many different instances. Like, I should be dead. Nicholas Davis says, same thing happened to me. What? What are the odds, man? What the fuck are the odds? 2 brothers in the chat, same shit happened to them. See, only at Casa de Go. You know what I'm saying? Only at Casa de Go will you find this type of synchronistic shit going on. You know? I remember one time I was driving a cab. I was driving taxis, and there was this main street, and there was like another street, a parallel street. But every street light this particular evening down this whole street was off. So it was like the whole street was like pitch black, right? Now, to turn from this street onto that street, there was a huge dip. You better slow down or you're going to take your fucking transmission out, right? So I'm slowing down and coming back out to dip and going onto the other street. I'm looking down the street this way. All of a sudden, a car going about 90 miles an hour just whoom, right in front of my cab. I'm talking about like right in front. Had I been 1 second faster, I wouldn't even be here right now, you know, because it would have smacked right into my driver's side, and they didn't have their lights on. I didn't even know what went past my cab until I seen them go down the street, and then they put their brake lights on because they were going to turn. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I would have been dead. I mean, as fast as they were at least going about 80, 90 miles an hour. And I was like, whoa, hey, Deacon Schmack. I'm telling you, man, synchronicity on point. I'm telling you, shit. I'm telling you, it's real in the field up in here. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it's real in the field. And sometimes I wonder if, like, for example, Bizarro, Nicholas, if there's an alternative reality where they actually did die, but their consciousness went on, and it was continuity. So it seemed like, hey, I just happened to live through this shit, right? And I wonder that, because that's probably the case for probably all of us. There's probably, if there is, and I know there is, but other dimensions and shit. There's another dimension where your ass died. To them over there, they know that you died. Like if they was to see you right now, they'd shit on themselves. You know, Nicholas Davis thought I was in purgatory. Wow. And to be out of there and not like, I don't know if you were super concussed, black man in Bizarro World. That's crazy. That is crazy. But yeah. How you doing, Miss Deaconess Mackey? How was your Sunday evening? You're up rather late. TV's up late too. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the rest of y'all are at. I'm on the West Coast, so like, you know, it's only 10:21 here, but for some of you, 10, 11, 12, 1. It's already 1. Whatever. That might be late for you. That might not be. But I appreciate you being here. Yeah, concussed. That's an interesting word. Yeah, shit. Yeah, you don't want to be concussed. But yeah, so it's time to play Ghostbusters, y'all. It's time to play Ghostbusters, whether it's with your relationship, whether it's with your situation, could be with just who you are and whatever is flowing out of who you are now, or who you are now isn't who you were. It could just, you could be stuck in thinking that you are somebody else and didn't even notice that you've changed. You've grown, or you're not the same. You know, remember I told you about the lights coming on? That's happened in a lot of different ways. I know for a lot of you too, as well as even just like maybe a particular job or career where the lights come on. It's just like, I don't want to do this shit no more. And there's this thing that like, well, I've done this for the last how long, so I got to stick with it, or else all that's a waste. No, it ain't. You learn some shit. You got wisdom. That's one of the most important things, to be able to extrapolate wisdom from your relationships. Okay, if it's done, it's done. Fine, I accept that shit. You know, what is the wisdom? What did you get from it? How are you going to allow that? How are you going to make that make you a better person? You know, as opposed to trying to hold on to the fucking person and shit, or hold on to something that is just not here no more. Done. Skis. All right. 10:21. Hey, okay, we on the same time then. Nicholas Davis, black man in Bizarre. Well, I walked out, ain't nothing happened, bro. Glad joke. Yeah. In Bizarre, that's what. Fuck, that's crazy. I'm like, how the hell do I escape from this job? See, I could ask a bunch of questions. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I do suspect that you probably have like at least started applying somewhere else or something. The alternate timeline, Divine Dre said, the alternate timelines feel like potential decisions or thought entities. Yeah, I get that too. That have siphoned off a bit of the source's energy. Mm-hmm. 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 Because then there's also alternate versions of ourselves that actually did go right as opposed to left, you know, or that ended up with this person instead of that person, or decided to go do this instead of that, you know? Yeah. This Black Man Bizarro said it happened at 3:18. I was with my cousin from New Orleans, area code 318. We was listening to Lil Wayne, Mega Man third song out of 18 tracks. It 3 minutes and 18 seconds long exactly on my birthday, 318. What the fuck? Shit. That's nuts. Wow. It is a brain fuck. And you know what? Devondre, I like fucking my brain all the time. I really do. I really, really do. I can sit here and pontificate on shit for fucking ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't catch myself down a rabbit hole, you feel me? Like, I will keep going with the shit because it's just fascinating to me. And it's like, you went right, and this is where your particular consciousness is. This is what you're aware of. So to you, it's like a movie. You got that continuity. Yeah, I came up here and I just went right. But there's another version of yourself that went left. And they have their own consciousness. And the fun that I've been having is being able to, and I'm getting better. I'm not like super master, but like I've been actually getting pretty fucking good at this, tapping into those consciousnesses. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to you. Yeah. Damn, I'm from New Orleans and my old number. Yeah, see, shit. Y'all might want to exchange numbers or some shit. Oh, and also, Nicholas, go ahead and if you want, throw your info. If you need your credit fixed, this man right here can work some credicular miracles. Okay, he can do some shit for you. Okay, this Nick Lord Davis here. Okay, you're the one, right? I had to kill them all. I had to kill them all. You know what I'm saying? I think, they always give gems in movies. You know that, right? Like there's always certain hidden shit in gems and stuff. And I've always wondered about that shit. And then I've also had a lot of people say, man, I fucking swear to God, I seen you. I seen you. And I'm like, no, look, you haven't seen me. Then I start to fucking thinking again, like, did you see me? What me did you see? Nah, bitch, it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? Bitch, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I've been here all night, you know. So I'm killing the other youths. You know what I'm saying? Killing them. Killing them all. Can you do anything with student loans? Nicholas, Miss Joyner here, a fellow Sorcerer's Corner member. By the way, also get your ass over to the Sorcerer's Corner. This is like, I'm telling you, new wave, spiritual tools, information, all kinds of things, group activity, group rituals. You want to be a part of some of our group rituals that we have, the public ones, and we got to have some private, and we got private ones going on. So the other you is out there. Yeah, he is. Shit. I'm just hoping he didn't fuck somebody's wife or something like that I don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Now you causing problems for me. And I didn't even get to enjoy it. So I take up issue with that. I used to tell my women in college that was my shadow. Black men don't cheat. I've been under the weather. Okay. I'm gonna be sending you a message also, Mrs. Joyner, because I have some things as far as some other things that we're working on there. Yes, thank you, Prophetess Vance. All right. Anyways, that's crazy though. That's crazy. I think we're going to end up concluding here. But yeah, see, we start getting off into this conversation. But you know what? And a lot of times, I feel like this does have something to do with what the sermon is. Like it does. It can. We can go too far off that way though. But I kind of wanted to keep it as far as something to walk away with or to think about. At least maybe even a slight perspective shift. About the ghost that you're carrying around. We all got ghosts. We all got ghosts. But who you gonna call, right? I know that was corny, but hey, fuck it. You can do that here. So yeah. Oh, absolutely. I didn't know that was your daughter. I did not know that was your daughter. Salute the chat. Yeah, man. You gotta start coming by, Gotta start coming by, man. We be chopping up about who knows fucking what. We be doing all kinds of shit. Get back in the studio. I'm gonna get back in this audio book. Y'all stay magical. You too, Divine Dre. Salute. Salute to the God, Prophetess Vance. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters? Yeah. All right, y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful Sunday night. I don't know if you're gonna see me tomorrow. I got a lot of shit to do, as usual. So yeah, we're gonna do it like that. And of course, Prophetess Vance with the toodles, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I like that. Stay magical, people. Peace.